Well, it's time for yet another Corona Hysteria update. On Friday, President Donald Trump held a 1 hour press conference where he outlined in great detail some of the steps that the administration is taking in dealing with the coronavirus and offsetting its effects. Well, what kind of effects? Well, the kind of effects that will hurt the economy, which means ultimately hurt people. Now, of course, immediately the Democrats and the liberals and the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media go into hyperventilation mode. He's protecting Wall Street. He's protecting millionaires and billionaires. He's not doing anything directly for the people. I'm sorry, but if the economy crashes, that affects the American people. If we run out of things like gas, oil, that affects the American people. If gasoline all of a sudden were to skyrocket to $10 a gallon, that affects the American people. So by shoring things up and putting out plans where small businesses can get immediate loans so that they can continue to operate, these mom and pop businesses that oftentimes don't have any employees, but this is what they depend on for their livelihood, or the small businesses that have employees, but the effects of the coronavirus and all of these mass quarantines that these governors have gone out of their minds now in enacting, and we have every professional athletic association from basketball to hockey to baseball shutting down, and how that has a trickle effect on hotels, restaurants, the transportation industry, etc., 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 etc. This ensures that they'll be able, these small businesses, to continue to operate and make payroll. That directly affects the American people. And funny, all these libloons in their bleeding heart and wanting to, we gotta protect everyday people, yet they have said in Congress they will not vote nor pass the president's proposed payroll tax freeze. Really? Oh, no, we can't do that. So, in a time of crisis, letting Americans have more of their money that they could actually save, invest, hang on to, so that they can take care of unforeseen emergency expenditures that come up. No, we can't do any of that. And again, this president doesn't know what he's doing. Why, little Humpty Dumpty himself, Brian Stelter, over on CNN, was talking about how it's the corporations in this country that are leading the charge and not the president. No, that was the president who has been meeting with the CEOs of the big pharmaceutical companies, meeting with the CEOs of Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, Target, to set up the staging places that people know how to get to. They know how to get to their local Walgreens. They know how to get to their local Walmart, their local Target, and using private corporations, those evil private corporations, to actually provide free testing for the coronavirus. Shazam, Batman. But of course, the Democrats, the liberals, the lying legacy media, they've got other ideas, better ideas, and how to combat this.
Well, this is a case for universal health care. This is,
Right. If there's coronavirus, universal health care would solve a lot of it.
This is an opportunity for us to come to grips with the fact that we absolutely have to transform our health care system.
Ideally, what we have is a person who believes in universal health care and paid sick leave.
If we were living in the system we want to live in, that I want to see, of course everybody would have paid medical leave.
At a bare minimum, we need federal paid sick leave.
Now is the time for action to provide direct assistance and emergency relief to every single American through a universal basic payment of $1,000 a month to every American for the duration of this crisis.
So, if everybody had universal health care, nobody would be sick right now? and Tulsi Gabbard basically taking on the yin-yang, yang-gang insanity of universal basic income. That's what she's proposing. Hey, we're going to give everybody $1,000 a month for the duration of the crisis. Define duration. Define crisis. This is a backdoor way for a permanent, because once things are put in place, quote unquote temporary, it's amazing how with Congress it becomes permanent. So all of a sudden now this just magically solves it. If we had universal health coverage, shall we take a look at all the socialist nations around the world that have guaranteed universal health coverage? How are they doing in combating coronavirus? Are their cases going down or up? Are they getting it contained? And by the way, as we keep getting this disinformation, why, there's 10,000 new cases a day. This is an epidemic. No, that is hysteria. The more people are being tested, the more we're finding out who's got it. I need you to wrap your head around this for a moment. You have probably already been in contact with people who have it. You probably have. And again, the one statistic nobody talks about, surmises about, how many people have had it, are over it, and never even knew they had it. But again, we come up with this insanity of, well, if we quarantine and shut down the schools and all these large events, what we can do is slow it down. Survey says incorrect. The truth is, once the virus is out and it's released, you've probably already been exposed to it and are completely unaware of it. So all of this mass quarantining, it's not going to have the effect that they think it is, that, aha, now we can get on top of it, now we can stop it, and then we can cure. No, what you're going to do is you're going to tank the economy. And that's done on purpose. Because by shutting all of these venues down, you're affecting the hourly employees that work there. You're affecting all of the businesses that benefit from those athletic arenas, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And some of you that sit there and say, I can't believe you keep insinuating that somehow this is a Democratic plot to take out Donald Trump. Gee, why on earth would I think that? Gee, before coronavirus, the economy was rock and rolling and everything was smooth sailing. All of a sudden, coronavirus shows up. And let's get real. We have, 145,000 cases worldwide. Worldwide. How many people are in the world? 8 billion. How many flu cases do we have worldwide? How many people have pneumonia worldwide? I go back to H1N1, the swine flu, and Barack Obama, and the lying that's going on right now to try to cover up Obama's pitiful response to the swine flu. Oh, he came out and gave his little speeches, and our medical communities are on top of it, and blah, 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 blah. Now, if you remember, swine flu targeted children. How many schools got shut down during the swine flu? Anybody know how many people we had dead in the United States before Barack Obama actually declared it a national emergency? There were 1,000 dead. I'll save you the lookup. Now, if you Google search that now, the first 2 pages of the Google search results will be article after article from CNN and PMSNBC. This is revisionist history. Barack Obama was on top of this the whole time. Get to about page 3 of that Google search, and all of a sudden the real articles from 10 years ago start appearing, and you can follow the timeline. Over 60 million people had the swine flu worldwide. 60 million. 60 million. But we have 145,000 with coronavirus, and that's now trumping everything. Okay. We had 20,000 people die in the United States from swine flu. And there was no mass hysteria. There was no economic worry, concern, and our supermarkets had toilet paper. This media created hysteria fueled by lunatic Democrats who want to take down this president, period. This is about creating a recession, period. Again, take heart, practice some common sense, practice some good faith. If you feel sick, stay home. If your children are sick, keep them home. If you are elderly, limit your public exposure for a couple of weeks. This has a cycle. It will run its natural cycle. Yes, we're getting on top of quickly being able to provide free testing. And yes, Tulsi, yes, Democrats, it's free. And we can do that without universal health care. It's free. And until there's actually a real vaccine available, the best thing people can do is stay home. If they're serious, such as an elderly person with it, then yes, a hospital where they can provide artificial respiration for them because it becomes a breathing issue for them. But right now, the hysteria, the overhype on this, it's off the charts. It's insane. Don't feed the insanity. Well, that's it for today's rant. Hey, make sure you give us a great big thumbs up. I really wish instead of the thumbs up thing, they had like lips so you could just send a kiss our way. That said, make sure you have smacked the bell to get notification of my rants. And check the word all. Otherwise, YouTube won't tell you that I'm ranting.